We are the 10th Legion, exiles from a dying empire who founded the Kingdom of Ebb. For 400 years, we guided and protected our people. We gave them peace, prosperity, fair judgment. Some say it was the death of the old king that turned the people against us. But it was Jane Cascinder who took up the sword and drove us from our chapter houses and estates. I was not there for the final battle, when the last of our legion faced Jane Cascinder beneath the boughs of an ancient, hallowed tree. Nor do I know what power she called upon in that forest to murder my comrades and friends. After that, the forest was changed, twisted and ruined. Only Jane walked out of that place alive. 30 years have passed since the Legion was destroyed, and Ebb has suffered in that time. War rages without end between Jane Cascinder in the east and the royal family in the west. A few sons and daughters of the Legion remain. You are one of their number. I write to you, my young friend, with urgent news. I know your childhood has not been easy, passed from one sympathetic household to the next, always one step ahead of our enemies. Your father, Hugh Montbaron, was our last Grand Master, and he would have wanted a better life for his son. But he and your mother are long dead, murdered by Jane Cascinder. As the last survivor of the old Legion, I've tried my best to keep you safe, to ensure that you are trained in the manner of your forefathers, with sword and shield. But Jane Cascinder hunts for us still. Now I fear that her spies may be getting close. We cannot delay any longer. We still have a chance to join together, rebuild the Legion, and take our country back from Jane Cascinder before it's too late. The sons and daughters of the Legion are gathering in the north, at your family's old estate. I urge you to join us in the Valley of Rukenval as quickly as you can. Help us restore all that was lost. Your faithful friend, Odo.
I was afraid everyone else was dead. Are you all right?
I'm fine. But who are you? Have we met?
No, but I've seen portraits of the Montbaron family, and you can only be Hugh Montbaron's son. My name is Martin Giscard, and I'm a friend of Odo's.
I didn't see Odo upstairs. Could he still be alive?
I hope so. If he did get out, maybe some of the others are with him. Damn, they found us again. We can't wait any longer. I've set a trap. 3 kegs of gunpowder on the bridge below. Thought I'd cover my escape if they found me. All we need to do is light the fuses. Come on, to the bridge.
The Montbaron estate burned, and with it my dream of a reborn 10th Legion. Or so I thought. I did not know that you and Martin Giscard had escaped the destruction. As you fled, fleeing toward an uncertain fate, you made your way across the empty leagues of the Rukenval. Throughout the journey, you were driven by a single hope, that others had survived the devastation, and that they reached the safety of the Rukenval chapter house. It was a slender hope, to be sure, but even a small hope can warm a man in the cold dark of night. As long as you drew breath, the 10th Legion yet lived, but your foes pressed close about, hunting you. The fate of the Legion, the fate of Ebb itself, rested with you.
I know this part of the valley. We've come a long way. I think we're close to the old Legion chapter house. If any of our friends are still...
Let's keep moving. We can talk more later.
You're right. The chapter house isn't far. Follow me.
Out of the way. We have no business with you.
Spoken like a man of the 10th Legion. Arrogant and foolhardy.
Who's paying this bonus for killing Legionnaires?
I don't get paid for answering fool questions. I get paid for killing Legionnaires. Lively up, boys. It's time to earn some gold.
You're alive? Both of you? I thought I was the only one left.
Odo, you made it. But where are...
Don't seem hurt. How did you get out?
I rounded up a few of our people. The only ones who hadn't been killed. Renaud, Hannah, and one of the twins from Drakenberg. Giles, I think. We jumped from the second floor of the house.
Tell me the rest.
Some of the mercenaries saw us. They fired their guns. I heard one of the others cry out. Then there were more Lescanzi in front of us. We tried to fight our way through.
Who else could have survived? We need to find them.
My ward, Anjali. I sent her to keep watch for latecomers. She wasn't at the estate when we were attacked. And there's another survivor, too. The half-blood Lescanzi girl. I couldn't convince her to join us before, but things are different now. Might have been one or two others who hadn't arrived yet when we were attacked.
If they're alive, I'll find them. Martin, you better stay here.
I agree. You're bleeding, Giscard, and you can barely stand up. I'll do what I can for Martin, but he'll be no help to...
You know this valley better than me. Where could they have gone?
Raven's Rill. It's the only town in the valley. The people here stayed true to the Legion, even when the rest of Ebb turned against us.
I'll head for Raven's Rill, then.
The town is west of here. Cross the bridge and turn right at the crossroads. Try to find Lazar Basili, the town boyar. He's an old friend and he'll help us if he can. And be careful. Those mercenaries are still here in the valley. Keep your eyes sharp and come back safe.
How did your husband die?
The mercenary filth marched in and took over the Rill. My husband Vaclav was a constable here in town. Vaclav spoke out against the invaders, and one of the bastards ran him through without a second thought. Murdered him in cold blood. A curse on all us.
This murderer needs to be brought to justice. Who was it?
I heard the others cheer his name. Boris. As he... I beg you, Legionnaire.
We'll give him justice. Cold and swift. What does he look like, and where is he gone?
He wore a sash across his face. Bring me that sash and I'll know the bastard is...
Not since the fool.
If the fish aren't biting here, why not find another spot?
I don't need to find another spot. I know the best fishing hole in the valley. Problem is, I just can't fish there no more. Something nasty took up...
I'm a Legionnaire. Is there anything I can do to help?
Not sure why you'd want to tangle with that thing, but if you can put it down, I'd be happy as a fly in the outhouse. Of course, I need proof it was dead.
Where can I find this creature?
Head east out of town and look for a pond to the south. That's where you'll find the beast. Here, take some of my secret bait with you. When you find the pond, toss it in the water. The smell seemed to draw it out last time.
I was told you had some information that would be useful.
Straight to business, then. Pity. You weren't the only one to escape the...
Please, tell me more. Time may be short.
I offer you this. A key that will open the prisoners' cages. If you hurry, they might still be saved.
Very well. I'll accept your gift, and if it turns out to be genuine, you'll have my thanks.
I am pleased to see I was right about you. Go now. It would be better if I were elsewhere. Perhaps we'll speak again, after this affair is finished.
It seems the Dark Sister smiles on us. She has brought the last of the wayward children to us.
Release your prisoners and leave in peace, and I'll spare your lives.
Ha! You are a bold one, but I'm afraid not. I fear my employer far more than I fear you, little Legionnaire. But now that you are here, you have saved us the trouble of hunting you down.
Thank you for releasing me. I underestimated these witches. It looks like a simple cage, but it's not. I tried...
Odo and Martin are waiting. They sent me to find survivors.
Odo is alive? Take me to him. I promise I can hold my own if it comes to a fight. Well, you certainly handled that with more aplomb than I expected. Bravo, my dear. Now then, Since you've accomplished your goals, I wonder if you wouldn't...
You helped me. Returning the favor's the least I could do.
Lovely. It's so nice when one's faith in people is rewarded. I have come into possession of a key that opens the gates of Gunderic Manor. I need a big strapping man to go in ahead.
All right, give me the key. I'll go look into it.
Wonderful. Such generosity deserves an immediate reward, so I'll tell you what I know of those who hunt you. The attack on the Montperin estate. Lisconzi mercenaries did the bulk of the fighting, but their leader was a woman named Roshani.
That's not much to go on. Can you tell me anything about her?
I do not know who she is, or perhaps what she is more apropos, but she has great wealth behind her. She hired half the Lescanzi clans in southern Ebb and marched them here to stop you, to stop the Legion from being reborn. You might be interested to learn that she has bivouacked herself in the town hall.
I appreciate your candor. That information will be very useful.
Information is only the barest glimpse of what I offer. Ours could be a very profitable friendship, if you give me Gunderic Manor. Here then, take the key. I will see you again after the manor's current residents have been... That door leads back to the forest. May the Dark Sister go with you, and the faithful hound guard your path.
Ah, there you are. I wanted to thank you for trusting me.
How do I get to Gunderic Manor from here?
Ah, yes, Gunderic Manor. When you leave the cave, follow the road away from town. The manor is not far from here. I do hope to see you again soon, but for now,
More enemies. They know we're here.
You are alive? It's been so long. I'm so alone here. Please, help me.
What is it that traps you here?
Father used something. Something powerful. Something forbidden. It speaks in ancient whispers, calling me back from the River of Souls. It's in the vault. Take this. A key to the east wing. The vault is...
How can I enter the vault?
Only Father knows. Search his study. If beware, my father's men will try to stop you. They are loyal to him, even beyond death.
Be careful. I know what this is. Odo told me the story of this thing.
It's not literally a heart, is it?
No, it's an artifact. According to Odo, it was stolen by Stefan Gunderic many years ago. Originally, it belonged to a tribe of primitives in the Great Swamp. The first people, I think they were called. They received the heart as a gift from a fallen god, before he died, like all the rest of his kind.
Alice asked us to destroy this thing. I'm going to smash it.
News of your deed spread quickly throughout the town. Perhaps the Legion is not a... I know you've been asking about Lazar. Turns out he had some correspondence with a rather elusive legionnaire, someone called Odo. That did not sit well with a woman.
The town hall? And where is that?
It is in the upper part of town, but you'll not be able to reach it. The Lascanzi have fortified the upper town, and they are letting no one inside.
How do you know about this alleged correspondence?
I wrote most of the letters myself. I have been Lazar's clerk for almost...
The Legion doesn't abandon its allies. Lazar will have his freedom.
If you truly mean to save Lazar, I am at your service. What would you have me...
Carry a message to Odo in the Old Legion chapter house. Tell him what's happened to Lazar.
If it will aid my friend, you'd best be off before any Lascanzi brigands spot us conspiring against them.
Anjali, they had you in a cage?
I'm well. A few hours underground, nothing more. But...
It's true. Her name is Roshani. She and her mercenaries have occupied the town.
So, without Lazar, we'll have no help from the people of Raven's Rill. But they're not fighting men. It's time to strike. Catch them off guard.
We'll need to surprise them. Did you have something in mind?
I did. You've heard of the causeways?
In the days of the Legion, they were passageways, cut through the fabric of another world. A Legionnaire could enter a causeway in Stonebridge and emerge an hour later in Raven's Rill, if we believe the old accounts.
The causeways were real. I walked them myself before the...
Go on, Odo. I trust that...
As do I. Tell us what you haven't...
There's a causeway here inside this chapter house. We can use it to slip into Raven's Rill, catch the enemy by surprise. The only trouble is opening the gate. I don't know how it's done. But I have an idea. The Grandmaster's ring. They say it was a key to something important.
The ring lies where the last Grandmaster fell. The Morn Weald. An ill-omened place.
If the ring is there, I'll find it. Just tell me where to look.
There's a door at the bottom of the tower. It'll take you outside into the forest. Here, you'll need the key. When you leave the chapter house, head to the east. You'll come to the Morn Weald soon enough.
The Legion died in that forest. Whatever happened, whatever Jane Cassander did to them, that place is changed. Get in, find the ring, and get out. No unnecessary risks.
Strange. The forest refuses to let us pass? Perhaps if we looked for another... This forest is aware of us. Why do I feel as if I know this place? And you... I know you.
Be careful. You're in danger here.
Anjali, you've met this boy before?
I must have met him. But I don't remember where, or even when.
I carried you out of the forest on the day of your birth. The same day the Legion died.
An old Legionnaire sent me to find this place. His name is Odo.
I met Odo once. A long time ago. He still remembers. But he isn't sure it was real. Odo's dreams have brought him to this grove.
We were looking for the Grandmaster's ring.
That ring is important, but it isn't what Odo thinks. Building the causeways was an act of creation. That is the most ancient power of all, passed down to opening a causeway. That is an act of creation too. I can give you that power, but you must promise never to come here.
Done. You have my word.
I wish I had time to explain. The Morn Weald is not just a forest. It's a manifestation of something far greater. It is very, very old. Older than the rest of the valley. The whole forest is waking. You've got to leave.
Can we leave by the same path?
You will never find your way. Not now. The Morn Weald will trap you here. I'll send you back to the edge of the forest. Remember what you saw here. Hold it in your... The causeways are yours. Use them to rebuild your kingdom. I ask only this. Let no one set foot in this forest. Neither enemies nor friends. I'll guard this place. For as long as I can.
The town is ours. They're fleeing into the woods in total disarray.
What about Roshani? You saw how she fights. She calls fire at will, and her eyes, they're like mine.
Who are you, girl? You look like someone I knew. You speak...
Then tell us who this woman was. Anjali has a right to know.
Was she kin to you? A sister, perhaps?
You share her likeness, but you could be a trick. Some kind of Legion spell. Or perhaps you're a false prophet meant to lead me astray. If you fight for the Legion, you're an enemy.
The Legion's done nothing to you.
My lady has told me of the Legion's crimes. She defeated you once, and she'll defeat you again.
Jane Cassander, the old enemy. 30 years on and she's still hunting the Legion.
And why should she not? You're traitors, kingslayers, murder.
We have to decide what to do with her. Suggestions?
She attacked a defenseless town, murdered your friends at the estate. Why are we...
Wait. Listen to her words. She's misguided, confused. She fears us. Killing... She's yielded. What if we set her free? Show Jane Cassander that the Legion still has honor.
Think of the people she killed. They deserve justice. Blood for blood.
My sisters will avenge me, Legionnaire. You'll burn before you die, and your legion will fall.
Silence, Roshani. You have spoken enough.
Justice indeed, for your friends and for mine.
But now we'll never know who she was.
Look, Roshani's spear. This could prove useful in the right hands. Come, we should return to the chapter.
I'm ready. Our business...
Against the might of the 10th Legion, even the Archon Roshani could not stand. Jane Cassinder's lieutenant was vanquished, her mercenaries' hold on the Rukenval broken. The Legion was known for its mercy in the past, but no more. For her crimes, Roshani was branded enemy of the Legion, and her life was ended by your hand. In the aftermath, the people of Rill did as they always have. They rebuilt. Grief was set aside, for much work remained to be done. Much yet remained for the Legion to do as well. Rukenval was free, but our old enemy still plotted our demise. The Rukenval chapter house would not be our sanctuary, but a staging ground for what was to come. Martin tells me that Jane Cassinder was behind this. She acted fast. That means she's afraid.
At least Roshani is dead. She won't be reporting us.
The valley is ours. Let's take our rebellion south while we have the advantage of surprise.
Jane will not expect us to move against her so soon.
Agreed. Our plan stays the same. We'll spread the word that the Legion has returned, then rally Jane's enemies and attack her wherever she's weak. We should start by reclaiming the Grand Chapter House, the old Legion headquarters in Stonebridge.
How do we get to Stonebridge, then?
Stonebridge lies to the south and west, on the far side of the swamp. Lazar's people have repaired the bridge, so the road should be open again.
Martin and I will stay here for now. Help the locals rebuild.
We owe them. They've endured a great deal for our sake.
We have a causeway gate here. Surely there must be another in Stonebridge.
There is, but it's shut. Montbaron ordered most of them closed. A causeway gate can only be opened from the outside.
Why send me?
The Radiant Youth choke.
All right.
Jane Cassinder controls most of the land between here and Stonebridge. Her soldiers wear the raiment of the Azranite Church. Avoid them if you can.
Once you're inside the chapter house, look for the causeway gate. Open it, and you can bring the rest of us through.
You're the vanguard of the Legion. All our hopes go with you.
There you are. This may sound strange, but I was told to wait for you here.
Told? By whom?
A child. A boy with golden hair and piercing eyes, who spoke like no child I have ever met.
Did you follow us into the Morn Weald?
No. He came to me in a waking dream. I know better than to doubt a vision, especially one so clear. My father was Hugh Montbaron, Grand Master of the Legion. A proud man, I'm told, but not immune to my mother's seduction.
Illegitimate, perhaps, but I think she tells the truth. I've seen paintings of the Montbarons, and she has the same pale eyes. The resemblance is striking, actually, especially to Hugh.
I do not know why this golden child chose me, but I believe I can be a...
If you're a Montbaron, then you're part of the Legion, and my family. We could use your help.
Even if the child had not appeared to me, you are family. Of course I will help. We journey south, no? To Stonebridge? I know the roads, and charming company makes long miles less dreary.
You are not welcome here. You bring fire and poison to our home. You kill our sacred trees, and you move the crawlers to madness. Now you kill my seed in my village. I come to tell you that you will stop, or Marugatan will...
You brought this on yourselves when you kidnapped our allies. You started this fight, not us.
We Urshamish did not start any fight. For years you bring your beasts of fire and spoil the land. You kill warriors in metal and Urshamish warriors.
There's only one thing we want, and that's the men you took from us.
And why should I return your warriors? You have killed many of my seed. You have burned the ground and poisoned our waters with your dead.
It was Jane Cassinda who burned your swamp and killed your people, not us. I ordered my army to leave you alone.
You fought in the damp and killed Urshamish for years. You now speak names unknown to Maru Yittum to hide the truth. You are all enemies. When our blades pierce your heart, Maru Yittum will feed your flesh to the cross.
We go our separate ways from here. Pity to see you go. The Queen could use good people like yourselves.
A pity also that my freedom was purchased in blood. The first people were only safeguarding their land. From their point of view,
That's more than enough, Phineas. I'll not hear any ungrateful talk.
Easy to sympathize with your enemies when others do the fighting for you.
If he understood how close he came to death, he would never speak so.
Phineas has never shouldered responsibility for anyone but himself.
Now that we've rescued your people, where will you go?
I'll march what forces I have to Glitterdelve. Try to get there ahead of Jane Cassinda. With these cannons, we can mount a respectable defense. But it's no longer a question of victory.
How long will it take to raise the land bridge?
Not long. I begin straight away.
If our fortune holds, then Jane Cassinda will not have reached Glitterdelve. Not yet. We'll march to Queen Rosalind's side as quickly as we can. Perhaps we'll see each other again, before this war is done.
We promised you a road out of the swamp. Follow me.
I'm told that the tunnels are sealed and Jane's forces are repulsed. That was fine work. Now she's trying to drill her way inside at the base of the deep well. You heard the noise in the tunnels, no doubt.
Another attack so soon? I thought I'd bought us some time by collapsing the tunnels.
She knows I'm here. She won't let her people rest, not when I'm so close.
Phineas and I have prepared a trap for Jane. It will require all our remaining stores of black powder.
We'll need to shut down the stone stream, allow the combustion.
So if the vapors collect at the bottom of the deep well, we can set off an explosion.
And consume Jane's army and fire. If any survive, they'll surely be crushed by falling rock, and that tunnel will be buried as well. I've taken some of the cannons that you saved from the swamp and set them at the bottom of the well. If Jane's forces break through the tunnel too soon, they'll provide a tactical advantage.
What do you think of our plan? Lord Devonsey is sure it will work, but I should like to hear the Legion's opinion too.
Devonsey is the general, not me. Just tell me how I can help.
Phineas will climb to the top of the well and shut off the stone stream. Go with him and keep him safe.
Right. I've got to fetch a few books and scrolls. I'll meet you at the top of the well.
The war beast lay dead, its fall testament to the might of the 10th Legion. But it seemed a Pyrrhic victory as the Azunite army pushed into the deep well. Hundreds of soldiers poured from the tunnels, easily outnumbering the Royalist forces. You and your allies fled before them, but this was not the defeat it might have seemed. Without the stone stream to refresh it, the air in the deep well was a seething cauldron of explosive gas, awaiting the merest spark. That spark the Royalists were all too happy to provide. The explosion collapsed the well, entombing the Azunites beneath the mountain, and shattering Jane Cassinder's hopes of destroying the Queen. Would that Cassinder herself had been buried there, along with her men. But such an end was not her fate.
Jane's army is fleeing down the mountain. The woman lives, but we're safe from her. For now.
The victory is yours. We owe the Legion our lives.
I'm told that Jane spoke to you. She mentioned the old king, no doubt?
I need to know what really happened. All the facts, no matter how shameful.
Jane Cassinda spoke the truth, as far as she understands it. The commanders of the Legion did conspire to unseat the old king. The goal was never to murder the old king, only to replace him with his eldest son. But the king resisted, and the matter went awry.
You must understand. My grandfather was a monster.
If the king was a monster, then they were right to remove him.
Yes, that was exactly what Hugh Montbaron said. The old king was prone to paranoia, irrational rages. He'd grown jealous of the Legion. We were too rich and too strong for his taste. Before long, he started seizing our chapter houses and estates, threatening...
If they didn't mean to harm the king, then why was he slain?
I wasn't there when it happened, but I'm told that the king drew a sword. The man wasn't much of a fighter, more a danger to himself than the Legionnaires. Who knows how he ended up with a blade in his gut?
Jane told me something else. She said that she was the king's illegitimate daughter.
Ah, the old rumors. I can't say for sure, but I am inclined to believe them.
Jane Cassinda shares my blood? What else have you not told me, Lord Devonsey? The woman lost her father. Her family betrayed her. That doesn't excuse what she's done, but at least now I understand. I would ask one more favor of the Legion. Should you meet her again, will you spare Jane Cassinda's life?
If she's willing to surrender, I'll let Jane live.
Lord Devonsey will surely chastise me for my gentle nature, but I am sure this is the right course. Whatever happens, the Legion has my trust and support.
I shall send riders to all the towns and villages that support the Queen with news of our alliance. You have the word of the Royal Court. All Western Ebb will stand united behind the Legion.
Gentlemen and goblins, order! Council recognizes the envoy from the 10th Legion.
Meister Wolf tells us that you propose an alliance. Perhaps our colleague forgot to emphasize how deeply we value our neutrality.
A war with Jane Cassinda would risk the very life of our republic.
The royal army's destroyed. It's only a matter of time before Jane Cassinda turns against you. Let us help protect your city.
A fair point. We are reasonable fellows, and we know that Jane Cassinda looks upon Stonebridge with covetous eyes. Nonetheless, you can understand why some in the city might fear the Legion's return.
Countless Legionnaires were murdered in our streets. People might think that you've come to seek revenge.
Forget the past. Those murders are 30 years gone. We came here to reconcile, not for revenge.
Words alone are unlikely to sway our good citizens. Perhaps if we form a committee, study the problem for several months or a year.
Nonsense! The Legion is no threat. There's far more dangerous things in this city, if you would only open your eyes.
Ah, our colleague again speaks of the dapper old gent, no doubt.
Indeed, sir, I do. You think that the trouble in the Foundry is not the work of the gent?
Wolf, you didn't say anything about the Foundry before.
Bad business. The Foundry supplies power to all of Stonebridge, but now it's gone silent, and no one knows why.
Meister Wolf, let us not turn aside from the matter at hand. We owe the Legion our vote.
No, wait. That hardly seems fair. Force a vote now, and it will assuredly go against the Legion. I propose a recess. Let us each speak privately to the Legionnaires, so that we can reach an informed and...
Sounds like a reasonable idea. We agree.
Indeed, well spoken, Meister Mudgutter. Any objections? None? Council declares a recess.
Ah, so the Legion has come looking for my vote. These are perilous times, but I forget my manners. I am Rorik Castle.
An alliance with the Legion would help protect Stonebridge. If times are as perilous as you say, then your city needs friends.
If you wish to be of service, there is a certain problem that requires attention. The Foundry is presently overrun. It's the blasted Cyclopses.
We'll take care of these Cyclopses, if you'll pledge your vote to the Legion.
Fine, fine. It's a deal. Speak to my foreman, Mr. Snell, at the Foundry.
Ah, yes. I was wondering when you'd come and harass me.
Let's get right to the point.
Well, you could help me alphabetize court documents, but a better use of your talents would be to help me with an investigation. Normally, I'd have Wolf handle the situation.
If this is the price for your support, I accept. Just tell me what you need.
So, the matter at hand. We've had numerous reports of masked individuals hauling automatons into the crypts under the city. Whatever their aim, they are slowly eroding our defenses. If someone was to, enter the crypts and purge them of these criminals...
Consider it done. We'll be back when we've dealt with these criminals.
Well, greetings, Legionnaire. If you've come to win my vote, don't bother. So that's that. Now, if you need some little task to occupy your time, or...
Why are you so eager to dismiss the Legion?
I trust the Legion. What I don't trust is this city. It has a dark history with the Legion. Personally, I wish you great success in restoring the Legion.
Are you sure there's nothing we can do to win your vote?
At the moment, no. But worry not. Now, I do have a task or two for you. It's not going to win over my vote, but I would find a way to repay your efforts. Long ago, the Legion served as the mediator of first and last resort.
That's all? I thought you might have wanted us to slay something for you.
Your first task is to handle a situation with a prisoner of ours, a Krug. He has no crimes charged against him, but his fate is disputed. Many argue he's safer in prison. Others want him free. He's here in the Meisterhall's jail. Make your inquiries there, then tell the automaton who presides over the jail what you've decided. It's hardly dragon slaying, but if you're true to the Legion, you'll have time for small matters. Go on now.
Do to win your vote. An alliance will benefit...
There's that word again. You won't think ill of me, I hope, if I express a certain degree of... But I shall respect the wishes of the other Meister.
You were elected to lead the city?
By a popular vote of almost 70%, not counting the automaton. Our mayor is elected from among the Meisters. We put an end to all that
I won't...
Welcome to the Stonebridge jail.
I'd like to speak to the Krug prisoner. Fiddlewick asked me to appraise the situation.
Very well. It is Meister Fiddlewick's prerogative to entrust such decisions to strangers, rather than automated constables with decades of experience. Please note that the Krug has been imprisoned for its own safety.
Krr. Do you want to go free?
Krr. Krr.
Can you understand what I'm saying?
Krr. Ah, yes. Sorry about that. I've been having a terrible bout of phlegm lately. Yes, I can understand you perfectly. Why wouldn't I? Just promise me you won't do that thing where you talk slower and louder.
You're pretty well spoken for a Krug.
A Krug? Yeah, I guess that's what people think I am.
People seem to think you're a Krug. Why haven't you said something and corrected this situation?
I'm tired of being harassed and assaulted. This time I decided I'd let them think I'm a monster and keep me locked up. I've thought about getting out of here, but I have nowhere to go. I'm content to just stay here and daydream.
I have to decide whether you stay or go free.
Well, I suppose I've committed no crime, unless being hideous is illegal. But if it's all the same to you, I'm safe here. Let them go on thinking I'm a Krug. It won't hurt my feelings.
Ah, good. I thought I'd find you here. You see, I've been archiving the history of the 10th Legion in Stonebridge.
Go on. What kind of research do you mean?
I've studied the event of the local Legion's demise, the riots. I've kept track of many looters and killers that profited on that day. Some who looted the chapter house proudly displayed their ill-gotten gains. Well, I have kept track of these pompous criminals, especially the ones who insisted they'd be buried.
Those artifacts belong to the Legion. I'll do whatever it takes to get them back.
I've assembled a list of graves that should contain stolen property. Here, take my notes.
A shame no one confronted these looters while they lived.
Back at last. The automatons cost the city a fortune to build.
So I trust we can count on your vote?
I am a goblin of my word. Legally speaking, you were deputized by a Meister to administer discretionary justice. In other words, I owe you fair recompense. And with this, our contract regarding the matter of the missing automatons is complete.
Of course. The Legion isn't above the law.
Good. I'll have my assistant deliver all the necessary paperwork to the chapter house. At some point, I'll send over an assessor to determine how much of the causeway is considered taxable. Now, if you'll give me a moment, I'll find the sub-schedule for arcane expenses.
Cyclopses acted in self-defense. They must be given fair wages and treated with respect.
What? Nonsense! The Cyclopses are bound by an agreement. If you wanted my vote, you just lost it. Bah! Tell them I will negotiate their wages. This decision is foolish, but I won't have the Cyclopses leave. The city needs them.
He'll calm down eventually. But you have my thanks, and I pledge my vote to you when the time comes.
Did you find my men?
Yes, they're safe.
They are? Hasn't bless you, and all the saints as well.
I didn't help you for a reward. But if you mention this to Castle, we'd appreciate it.
Your generosity knows no bounds, my friend. I'll tell Castle, and I'll raise a glass in your honor next time I'm...
Surrender yourself, gent. By all the saints, your judgment is long overdue.
Judgment? By what right? The people of Stonebridge are guilty of far worse crimes than mine.
You'd be wise to keep your mouth shut. We're the ones who will be deciding your fate.
Better the hangman's noose than bend my knee to these traitorous merchants and clerks. Look at them. The fine people of Stonebridge. I help them remember what they try so hard to forget.
For blaming an entire city for the crimes of a few.
Indeed. I take affront, sir. I am no murderer, and I can name 100 others who had no part.
No, Master Wolf. You are no murderer. That is true. You simply consort with murderers. Bow and scrape and do their bidding.
Why did you survive when all the other Legionnaires died?
We were ordered to stand firm, to face the mob down, to raise no hand in our own. A stupid order, meant to shame the people into sparing us.
And the people who killed the Legionnaires? They were never tried for murder?
What could we do? Arrest half the city?
If you claim to be a Legionnaire, then tell us your name.
Archambault du Payen, senior apprentice to the Grand Mage.
No, not the last. Look at me, brother. We stood at Hearthfire together 40 years past, spoke the rights, and made our oaths to the Legion.
I remember you. Odo, the tracker, the tireless scout, the watcher of roads.
You're a criminal, but you're a Legionnaire as well.
Hand him over to me and I'll see that he gets a trial. He'll hang, I expect, but that's a quick death. Better than he'd get if we tossed him to the people.
Wait, he's a Legionnaire. He's one of us. And he's a mage. If we give him to the town, all his knowledge is lost.
We'll take custody of the gent. He won't trouble your city any further.
I must vigorously protest. This madman tried to bring down the city. I'll not have him running loose.
My word that I leave you in peace, Constable, on the following terms. First, that your fine council grants full support to the Legion. Second, that you find the ones who slaughtered my Legion brothers, if they yet live, and hold them to account.
I dare say we have little choice. That's one matter settled, but we still owe the Legion a vote. I'll convene the council at once.
Was this then what the Legion had become? A bitter old man bent on revenge? I didn't want to believe it. The gent was a true man of the 10th, and its ideals still lived in his heart. Though the gent had committed terrible crimes, the Legion had need of his knowledge. His skills would serve no one if he went to the noose. So the dapper old gent returned to the chapter house, his crimes forgiven in the eyes of the Legion, if not the people of Stonebridge. We have gained a powerful ally, and the people of Stonebridge have pledged themselves to our cause. As long as Jane Cascinder remains a threat, they have little choice.
Gentlemen and goblins, order! Council will address the proposed alliance with the 10th Legion.
Circumstances have indeed changed since we last spoke. I now find myself addressing the savior of our city. Does the Legion envoy have anything further to say before a vote is called?
Our purpose is to serve the people of Ebb, not to impose our will upon them. We'll honor whatever decision you make.
Very good. No reason to postpone our decision any further. All those in favor of the alliance vote aye. Those opposed vote nay.
First Constable votes aye.
Chief Barrister votes aye.
Guild of Ironmongers reminds the Council of the considerable cost of the events in the Foundry. Are we now to pay for the Legion's war as well?
First, the Guild abuses its workers. Now it votes against the savior of our city? I wonder what the people will do when they hear. And I promise that they'll hear.
Guild of Ironmongers respectfully abstains.
Master of the College votes aye.
3 votes in favor, 1 abstention. As mayor of the city, I shall join the majority and vote aye. Be it resolved, then, that an alliance is declared between the city of Stonebridge and the 10th Legion.
I'd like to thank the Council for putting its faith in the Legion.
Of course. You are the savior of our city. Ask any favor of us, and the answer will be yes.
Will you send your automaton army to attack Jane Cascinder? We can take her by surprise and end the war.
The army? When I said any favor, I didn't actually mean...
Capital! I can have the automatons ready in short order! Shall I make ready to leave? I should warn you, we may not return to Stonebridge again before this war is over.
I don't see any reason to wait. We'll leave for the spire as soon as you're able.
The spire stands atop Mount Jereb. Our automatons will assault the town of Aegis Bay at the foot of the mountain. They'll engage Jane's forces and provide a distraction, you say. That will give you a chance to climb the trails to the top of the mountain and assault the spire itself. It will be an honor to fight alongside the Legion, and may fortune smile upon our endeavor.
At long last, the tide turned. No longer was the 10th Legion fighting a defensive war. With the automaton army of Stonebridge behind us, we took the battle to our enemy. Under the command of Martin Guiscard and Meister Wolf, our army poured forth from Stonebridge in a flood of iron and flame. The journey was a long one and difficult. Had you marched with soldiers of flesh and blood, I do not doubt that many would have died, but the automatons were tireless. At last you reached your goal, the spire. Crowning the sacred mountain of Jereb, it was the heart of Jane Cascinder's strength. No army had ever conquered it. Azunite zealots and Stonebridge automatons clashed at the mountain's foot. Blind faith and cold reason struggled for dominance as the ground churned with oil and blood. Above the clamor of the battle, you ascended a forgotten path up the mountain, seeking the spire itself.
Look, sisters. The ones who killed Roshani are here. Our Lady wanted us to see you, to mark and remember your faces.
We're going inside. Draw your weapons or get out of the way.
And the girl? Do you speak for her too? Why would a sister of ours bow and scrape for the Legion?
You and I may share the same eyes. And yes, I can call fire like you. But I've never seen you before. I'm not one of your sisters.
You're wrong.
Enough of your tricks. You heard what Anjali said.
I heard her words, yes. But her voice and the face I remember so well, those tell a different tale. None of our sisters has ever returned from death since the fall of our gods. Not even Jane's mother, whose fire passed to her daughter and left her an empty shell.
Yet, here I am. And your stories will never convince me to abandon my friends. Stand aside.
You were always stubborn, sister. The door to the chancel is shut, bound by the lives of 2 others you once knew. They lurk in the towers beyond the Bailey Garden. Expect no quarter from them, or from us if you try to run. One way or another, the Legion dies today.
You're not one of Cassinda's mercenary dogs. Please, for the love of mercy, let me out of here!
Where might I find the keys to these cells?
The jailer carries them. He lingers at the north end of the cell block, though he passes through here to torment us often enough.
I'll return when I have the key.
Injustice. Injustice gives way to trespass. Trespass demands redress. Redress comes only through blood. If the son strikes the father, let his hand be hewn off. If the serf wounds the noble, let him suffer the lash. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. If a man should trespass, let his feet be seared with hot coals, and let him be whipped from the city! All this fire and blood and the screams of dying men, the stench of burst guts, sweltering heat of battle lust, taste of copper and fear. Armies wheel and clash, steel turns to flame in the morning sun, forever and unchanging. War without end. War without end. What is this? The foeman seeks to steal a march. To arms! To arms! May the line hold strong!
And here is the Legion. Their hands washed with innocent blood. 30 years, and nothing has changed.
The Queen asked me to spare your life. Yield, and no harm will come to you.
The Queen is as soft as a milkmaid. She might be churning butter and birthing calves, and Ebb would be in safer hands. I say to you, lay down your arms. The days of your Legion are past and gone. When I faced the traitor Mott Baron, the gods of my mother struck him down. And they shall guide my hand against you now! You have defeated my Archons, crushed my soldiers, defiled this most holy of places. No more! The gods of my mother stand with me, while you have nothing but the ghosts of your broken Legion. If any of you pretend to piety, pray to your gods now. You are running out of allies. How much longer can you hope to stand against me?
Give yourself up, and we'll treat you with respect.
You mistake me. I do not concede defeat to the Legion, so you need not offer terms. My gods have not abandoned me, not yet. They dance like shadows at the corner of my eye, and they whisper in my ear. I will go before the gods of my mother, appeal to them for aid, and call her fallen sisters back from death. And when I return, we shall drive you from this kingdom that is mine by right.
What's happened? Where is Jane?
Vanished. She went to find her mother's gods, to appeal to them for help.
And they will answer her call. You will see.
You captured this Archon? I didn't think any of them survived.
But she's full of spite, this one. We found her in the chancel. The others were all dead.
Kill me if you like. My lady will call me back from death. My fallen sisters, too. Not only the ones you've murdered, but all the Archons who've come before.
You know something about this? Where has Jane gone?
To the forest. The place you call the Morn Weald, where Jane's mother found a seed of the first creation. That is where Jane first heard the voices of our god.
Martin, what about our army? What news do you have?
We've won, but only thanks to you. A few of Jane's people surrendered. The others all fled.
We've got to follow Jane. How can we get to the Mornweald from here?
This tower was built atop an old Legion stronghold. They may have left a causeway behind, probably in the dungeon below.
And now it is sealed behind a door, bound by my lady's magic. Impossible to reach without her key.
The one in my pocket, you mean? Found it in the chancel. Your lady left it behind.
No matter. The faster you find my lady, the sooner you'll die by her hand.
So what do we do with our ill-tempered friend here?
We'll put her in Jane's own prison. She can stay there for now.
Right. I'll have the automatons bring her below after...
And you, false sister. You defied Jane's mother once, at the cost of your life. Now you've returned, only to make the same mistake again. Do you think your fate would be any different this time?
Or perhaps I was called back to life to undo Jane's mistake. A second chance to make things right. Did you ever think of that?
You... No. You are wrong.
You don't speak those words like you mean them. When we return, and Jane does not, then you will know the truth.
We can take the elevator all the way down to the dungeon. Let's go and see if this causeway is still intact.
Made it out alive, did you? Not bad. Since you did old Fitch a favor, let old Fitch do one for you. Got some good stuff here. I'll start cheap.
So, one way or another, this is the end of our road. Shall we go?
Stay here, Martin. Someone needs to take charge of the spire.
I thought you might say that. Seems wrong, though. We started this journey together. I would have liked to have been there at the end.
You're a good friend, Martin. Take care.
Remember, out of all the survivors of the Legion, the Radiant Youth chose you. He appeared to no one else. I think he chose well, and I'd follow you down any route. Goodbye, my friend. Azunai be praised. You're here. You won't believe what's happened. It started just before you...
Jane Cascinder is here, in this valley. She thinks she can speak to her mother's gods and call the Archons back to life.
Well, whatever she's done, you better look outside. Something terrible is happening. It's like the sky's been set afire. Come with me. I'll show you.
Legionnaire! It seems that you've arrived just in time for the end.
We're alive, aren't we? Don't be so quick to give up hope.
Hope? You think I should have hope? Look! The signs are all around us. Stars are dropping from the heavens and we are all going to die. You see? It is folly to think of hope.
I need to get to the Mornweald, now.
I have the key to the lower level. We'll need it if we're heading into the forest.
Don't follow us. You'll be safe in the causeway.
Causeway? But I thought only Legionnaires were allowed to...
You are a Legionnaire. And Lazar is under your protection, is he not?
Excellent point.
Jane Cascinder is close. She found her way to the tree at the center of the forest, and she's waiting for you there. I came to warn you.
She's called the other Archons back to life. I've already seen them. And another creature, too.
Not just the Archons and the Devas. Something much worse.
Jane called something else back to life?
Nothing I have seen before. But anything is possible. This forest grew from a seed of the first creation. It's alive with the power of the old creator gods. Jane has tapped that power. She has used it wrongly, yes. But it's still the same power that gave birth to the world. But it won't matter. If you strike now...
Jane lost her chance for redemption. Now she answers for all she's done.
She cannot run from us again. She is trapped.
The presence that is taking shape, it forced me from the grove. Its power is much older than... But I will try to weaken Jane's allies. to stop as many as I can from coming to her aid. And I will be with you again, before the end.
So you followed me here. You are stubborn. And I admire you for that. But you should never have come. I have restored the Archons to life.
We defeated your Archons. And your four-armed demons, too. They're not going to save you.
Here the old Legion fell, shattered by my hand. Do not presume that you can avoid their fate. The Archons are not all that has returned. The power of creation still lives in this grove, and anything can be born anew. Even the creator gods themselves.
One of her mother's gods. She's called it back to life.
The voices of my mother's gods. I cannot hear them anymore. Not even a whisper.
They are lost. You will not see them or hear them ever again.
You lie, child! Or whatever you truly are behind that innocent face!
No, Jane Cassander. I speak the truth. What remained of your mother's gods has been destroyed. And the power of creation has fled this grove. It will never return.
That power was dangerous. Better that it's gone.
No. It was precious. My mother searched for thousands of years, and this was the only remnant of her gods that she ever found.
The power in this forest might have been used to restore the old gods and all their servants to life. Not the twisted half-life that you gave them, Jane Cassander. A true rebirth, as they were at the dawn of the world, but you called upon that power to destroy, not to create. You twisted the power of creation to your own ends, until all that was left was an empty shell.
We have a decision to make. What to do with Jane.
Wait. I have a question, and I may never be able to ask it again. I was born in this grove 30 years ago, was I not?
Yes. I found you here, on the day the Legion died, and I carried you to the forest's edge.
So the Creator Gods, whatever remained of them, they called me back to life.
That may be. Yes.
All the Archons that were called back to life were corrupt. Their fires were dark and cold. Not like Anjali at all.
Unless Anjali was born before the sickness truly took root. Just after the Legion died, and the Morn Weald began to rot from within. Perhaps the Creator Gods knew that they were doomed, and they wanted Anjali to destroy them. To undo Jane's mistake.
If that is true, then at least I've honored them. Thank you.
And Jane? What of her?
As long as she lives, Jane is a threat. A sword hanging over our necks. The Legion will never be safe. Not until she is dead.
I expect no mercy from the Legion. Do as you like.
You've escaped justice for too long. If you have any last words, speak them now.
Shall I tell you of my regrets? I have but one. I must leave this kingdom in the hands of a tattered Legion and a cringing, useless girl. I could have forged this country anew. You and your queen cannot.
And why should we take your word? You led your people to their death, and turn your gods into monsters. You are wrong, Jane Cassander, as you have always been.
I'll make this quick. Goodbye, Jane Cassinda.
She is dead, and the Legion can begin anew.
It's over then.
For now. You deserve a rest. But admit...
We need to build our strength and train more Legionnaires.
You will find many willing to join the Legion now. Even a few who might surprise you. And you will need them. Soon. The country is still divided. And the Legion has many old enemies who yet live. But you've shown that the Legion is strong again. Worthy of respect. Your enemies will fear you. And that will buy you time.
We began this together. And we will see it through to the end.
We part ways then. I will be watching. And one day, I will see you again. Farewell.
You bid farewell to the Radiant Youth, and he sent you back to our chapter house in Stonebridge, where I awaited your return. In the weeks that followed, news spread of Jane Cassinder's defeat. Her army scattered, giving us time to rest and regroup. Martin Guiscard returned safely from the Spire, along with Meister Wolf and the Automaton army. Only a few weeks later, elections were held in Stonebridge. Meister Wolf, who had been so public in his support of the Legion, almost won the office of mayor. But he was defeated in the end. Many people had wanted the dapper old gent to hang. They resented the fact that the Legion had spared his life, and they blamed poor Wolf. After the humiliating events in the Foundry, Meister Castle was forced to resign as Guildmaster of Ironmongers. The Cyclopses negotiated a new contract for higher wages, and with the help of Meister Fiddlewick, formed a new workers' union. For the first time in 100 years, they were permitted to leave the Foundry and spend their newfound wealth in the markets and taverns of Stonebridge. Cyclopses are becoming an increasingly common sight in Stonebridge, and many believe that they will eventually take their place as equal citizens of the town. Archambault du Payen, formerly known as the Dapper Old Gent, proved a valuable addition to the Legion. His knowledge of Legion magic allowed us to retake control of the Sentinels that had long guarded our chapter houses and estates. But the Gent couldn't leave our chapter house without drawing an angry mob. His confinement started to drive him mad. So he returned to his beloved causeways, beneath an endless sky, and he dwells there still. With the reopening of the Heroes Crypt, pilgrims returned to the Rukenval, and merchants followed. The following winter was harsh, just as Lazar Basili feared. But thanks to the trade from the south, the people of Raven's Rill stayed warm and fed. When spring came, many more pilgrims arrived, and the town of Raven's Rill grew wealthy again. Lazar and his people built a new stone wall around the town, and reclaimed their abandoned houses and farmsteads from the forest. It is a happy change of fortune for a long-suffering town. In his last letter to me, Lazar added one other piece of news. Gunderic Manor has a new mistress, a witch called Leona. The manor has become a gathering place for scores of Lescanzi witches, many of whom are apparently quite beautiful. Lazar reports that the young men of Raven's Rill have also begun frequenting the manor, much to the irritation of their mothers and wives. Since the local men will not hear any talk of banishing the witches, it appears that Leona and her people have found a new home, which was perhaps what she intended from the start. Queen Rosalind abandoned Glitterdelve, embarking on a tour of all the cities and towns of the West, meeting as many of her subjects as she could. The Queen showed all the energy of youth, And I think she fully expects to reunite the country in a matter of months, not years. Reality may not be so kind, as Lord Devonsey has tried to make her understand. In truth, the future of this country depends more upon what we decide. If she doesn't have the Legion behind her, the Queen is only a single voice, well-meaning though she might be. Soraya, the last of Jane's handmaids, was delivered to Stonebridge by our army. At first, she proved a sullen and difficult prisoner. But as time passed, Anjali spent more and more time in her presence. Both were aware, I think, that they were the last of their kind. In recent weeks, Soraya seems a different woman. She follows Anjali like a devoted little sister, and she has expressed a desire to train as a legionnaire. I maintain my suspicion of any Archon who once followed Jane Cascinder, but I think that redemption is not impossible, even for her. As for the Legion, the rest of our story is yet to be told. We have a nation to reforge, a fellowship to rebuild, and old enemies who would see us destroyed. And we have questions to decide. Who will assume true power in Ebb if the nation is restored? And who will take the mantle of Grand Master? But these matters I leave for another chronicle, and another time. Whatever happens, know that you will not face the future alone. The Legion will stand by you, always.